First of all, I want to say hello and good evening to everyone. And as Rachel said, please, it's not too late. You can invite your friends. They can join us with the link. We will be very happy to welcome more participants to this webinar. I will share my presentation, and then I will also allow you to ask questions. If any of you would like to open your cameras, if we can be very nice, we can say hello to you. I see a few familiar names already, so it would be nice to see you as well if you like. So anyway, I will start now. Just 2 minutes. Okay. So the first thing I want to say on behalf of all the people that organized this webinar is thank you. And this, the purpose of this webinar today is to support you. This webinar is organized in order to support foreign caregivers, foreign care workers in Israel. And so we want to really thank you. Always we want to thank you for the important job you do, for your dedication to your patients, for the good work you're doing all the time. My mother lived with a care worker from India 6 years, so I'm really aware of the great help and support of the workers that worked with my mom and took care of her. And especially we want to thank you now, because now we are in a very special situation. It's a crisis, it's a wartime, and you are with us. And there are many moving stories of dedication of caregivers to people that are suffering. So we really want to thank you and to support you. And I want to tell you that the authorities in Israel, Biṭuach Laomי, they made a small survey to ask foreign caregivers how they are coping in this time. So 1,484 people from India, Philippines, Moldova, many countries, Sri Lanka participated. And the results were that they are coping well with the situation. People from all the countries and people that are working in different regions of Israel, even in the south, in the north, are coping very well with the situation. So really bravo to all of you. And also the survey has indicated the main requests or needs of the care workers. And so the results are that people that participate in the survey say that they wanted updated information on the security situation, info about their rights, emotional support, tips regarding communication with your home family, with your relatives at home, and tips for or recommendations for communication with your employers, with the family employers. So I will try today in this lecture to touch just a little bit of each of these subjects. I will start with basic information because this was number one need. And of course, this lecture is recorded. So you're very welcome. You will all get the, you can send and forward it after it to your relatives and friends if you like. So basic information that you all already know is October 7th, Hamas attacked Israel. Thousands of rockets entering Israeli villages and towns in the south, and Israel was not prepared for this attack, and the damage was very severe. Over 1,400 people been murdered, civilians, soldiers, including foreign workers, more than 2,000 injured, and hundreds were taken hostage. And the response of Israel was declaring a war, striking targets in Gaza Strip. On November 22nd, there was an agreement to release hostages and a ceasefire, a temporary ceasefire. during which 113 hostages returned, including foreign workers, but 136 hostages still remain in Gaza, unfortunately, and war started again. So now, as you all realize, we had a lot of bombs today in different parts of the country. So we are actually back in war situation. Now, in case, I don't know if I will just show you the map so you will be more familiar with the situation, and maybe it will give you some understanding of the situation. So on one side, you can see all you can see the Mediterranean, and you can see Spain and Italy and Greece and Turkey and Jordan and Syria and Jordan. And here is Israel with the little arrow where it's written here. And then you see Egypt. And so this is Africa. So you can see that Israel is in the Middle East, located a very, very small, tiny country in the Middle East. On the other map, you can see the map of Israel. You can see the borders with Egypt, with Jordan, with Syria, and in the north with, Lebanon. And you can see in the small green part that is Israel, you can see the brown part is what is called the West Bank. And then here in the small brown piece here, this is Gaza Strip. So as you can see, Gaza Strip has one side border with Egypt, and it's surrounded by Israel all over. It's here. It's actually, you see, we have borders with Gaza Strip all over. Now, the distances, Israel is a very tiny country, as I said. So you see it's 387 kilometers from north to south, and 73 kilometers from east to west. And in some parts, it's even narrower. So it's a very delicate situation to be surrounded like this. Here again is a map of Israel with an arrow pointing at Gaza. Here on this part, you see near the border with Egypt, and is part of the coastline. And here, this map shows you Gaza Strip. So you can see that Gaza Strip, this is Gaza City in the center. All this is Gaba Khan Yunis. You see the north and the south. Maybe you hear in the news that Israel is attacking in the north, in the south. And you see that all over here is Israel. So the villages that were that people went into and attacked were here on the border with Gaza, in the south, in the center, in the north of Gaza. Here is Erez crossing. Here is Kerem Shalom crossing and Rafah crossing. The hostages, maybe you heard on the news that they came from this crossing or that crossing. So here you can see. So again, this is Israel and this is Gaza Strip. A little bit background about the politics to this conflict is that, well, you know, it's always a question when to start the story. But I will start when Israeli disengagement from Gaza, which was in August 2005. There was a decision of the government at that time to get out of Gaza Strip. And in order to do this, Israel evacuated all the citizens. We had 21 settlements and about 9,000 people living in Gaza Strip. So all these people were evacuated, went out of Gaza. Israel also evacuated all the military facilities from the Gaza Strip, and Israel returned precisely to the 1967 Green Line border. It was, you know, in the middle, it had a big political and social debate. Not everybody in Israel agreed to this stage, to this step, and the evacuation caused a major crisis among the evacuees, people that had to leave their settlements and everything. And until today, some of them are really suffering from economic crisis. It was a big debate in society, but that's what Israel decided to do. Shortly after that, there were elections in Gaza, and the Palestinians that lived in Gaza chose Hamas as their authority. And since then, since Israel, this engagement from Gaza, there have been a number of clashes and military operations in Gaza, even before 2023. If some of you are living in Israel, for many years, they experienced bombs and going to the shelters in 2019 and other times. But, you know, of course, what happened in October was much more extreme and big than that. So this is a little bit about the political background. Now, I want to say something that I hope will make some relaxation, is that the situation is dangerous and delicate, but Israel has military and technological superiority over Hamas and also over other armies in the region. And so this is one point that assures us. And also we have an ally, we have support. United States mainly stands with Israel, not only declaring support, but real military force is sent and is waiting to help if we need more help and supply and all that. Now, the most assuring technology that we have to protect ourselves is what is called Iron Dome. In Hebrew, Kipat Barzel. You see the picture here. It's a mobile defense system that works day and night in all types of weather, summer, winter, rain. So you can see that this system, what it does, it on one side, there is a missile that is sent, let's say, from Gaza, and the system detects the missile in the air and destroys it. Kipat Barzel, Iron Dome, sends to it something that meets it in the air and destroys it. So the missile does not explode on Israeli land. And thanks to Iron Dome, most of the rockets launched from Gaza had not landed in Israel. We don't have the statistics yet, but we have statistics of previous conflicts, and about 80 to 90% don't land at all. And some don't land in towns, but land in the sea. So actually, Iron Dome protects Israel, protects us from most of the missiles that are sent from Gaza. So you hear the alarm, you hear the siren, but there are no falls. And the Iron Dome can respond to multiple threats simultaneously. You know, so even if many missiles are shot, the Iron Dome can respond to this. I put in this here a link that you can find more information about Iron Dome if you want to know more about it. This picture shows you that sometimes the explosion of Iron Dome in the air, so it prevents it from exploding on the ground, but pieces do fall and it can be dangerous. It's big pieces. And therefore, you have to go to the shelter, to the space, safe space, because of these little pieces. Here is a picture of Chetz. It's another mobile defense system. And Kipat Barzel, you see that it's mobile. It is carried on a car or a truck, a big truck, and Israel moves it around according to the information, according to the needs, to protect certain areas from dangers. So because we have this, we can feel more safe, but still, and the best way to defend ourselves if there is a siren or an alarm is to go to the safe space. There were many, many stories, cases in Israel that an entire house was destroyed, but the people that are living in the house were saved. They were not harmed. Space. Because sometimes an entire house was destroyed, but the people were not damaged. Close the door and the window and wait for 10 minutes. And specific instructions regarding safe spaces, where exactly is the safest space in your home or in your neighborhood. You can see in the instructions of the home front to command. And there are links here to the instructions in different languages. So you can use this link and also go to the Facebook link and use the information about safe space there. Now, about the security situation, we have a very special information source for that, which is called Metapelet, and I want to invite Dr. Inon Shenkar, the founder of this, to say a few words. Inon, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Daniela.
Yeah, please, can you introduce this and just tell me when to move the slides?
Thank you. So very briefly, thank you so much to you and to Rachel Dadi for inviting me. Very briefly, you've touched on one very key issue with all of us in this uncertain situation of a war, of a conflict, of people experiencing new things. My profession is public health, but I'm also a social entrepreneur and have created Metapelet just a couple of weeks ago. This initiative was launched because of Swords of Iron, and the intention of Metapelet, if you can move to the next slide, is relatively simple. Metapelet, is those who are מטפלים and מטפלות here know the Hebrew word, so a caregiver. That's the name of our program. It has been established and it will last only throughout the wartime we are at. 4 basic, key, simple, straightforward objectives where we are as well so much caring for the caregivers of our older adults. And we would like to provide them with the opportunity, with the ability to strengthen their resilience, their knowledge, their ability to handle the situation because of a very, allow me to say, egoistic interest. If they're well, our older people they care for will be well. So it's really a joint win-win situation that we are aiming at. We are trying to enhance also the emergency preparedness and response skills and practices of the ILFCGs, which is Israel Foreign Caregivers in Israel. Skills are important. They are not needing training of 3 months. Some of them are just lifesavers because you are able to provide tips, guidelines, information. So we would like to provide the foreign caregivers in Israel, not with every information or any information. This they can get from other sources. But for those of you here on the line who are Filipina or Indian or Uzbeki or other nationalities, the interest is to provide you with accurate, with independent, we are not representing any government or any other agency, authoritative, so all we are saying is true. And in a minute, you'll see what do I mean by saying and showing, and very practical. You don't have much time, you have a lot of work, it's very difficult. So we want to be able to provide news, information, guidance, and training in a very succinct and very effective way. But it's also, interestingly, become a forum where community of caregivers, whether they are Indian or Filipinos, Filipinas, and others, are also finding this to be a forum for spreading advice on the pressing issues. The next slide. Thank you so much, Daniela. So this is Angela, and Angela is our presenter. If you'll try to push the slide, maybe we can see, I think, what Metapelet, yep. Just press enter. Are we? It might appear on your screen, Daniella, it's actually a link to Facebook. So Metapelet is actually, allow me to put it in the chat, and so you can actually immediately use this to...
Isn't available anymore.
Yeah.
You can see the video isn't available anymore for some reason anyway.
So here it is over to your way, and you can press the chat and each one of you can look. The first is the Indian version, and the second one is the Tagalog version. I think it's actually a happy moment to try and show. If Rachel will allow me to share my screen, I will just show you very quickly what Metapelet is all about, if Rachel, that is possible.
I will, yes, just a minute.
Thank you.
Okay. I think it might open now. No, it doesn't. So maybe Rachel can help you with this.
Just a minute, because I see that I can't give you for some reason.
You go to participants, my name, 3 dots, and if you make me a co-host...
No, it's okay. I want to make you co-host, but I can't stand on your, for a reason that I don't see, I can't, but now I can. Okay, you're a co-host now, please. No.
Thank you. So here we are, just one short second, and I will try to share a screen here. Okay, so let's enjoy together a few minutes of Metapelet in Tagalog.
Magandang gabi mula sa Jerusalem. Kami ay Metapelet, isang pangunahing programa ng balita.
So this is Angela. She's an avatar. She's not a real person. And Metapelet is really a kind of a news bulletin. We won't need to see all of it. That brings pieces of news, the most important parts that we think are important for the caregivers of our Ima and Abba. But it's not only around the news, it's also giving some specific advice. For example, I think that Rachel will identify this.
I would guess that it has to do with some anxiety. I would not suggest blocking the door and...
So Professor Yoram Haravi, one of Israel's most renowned experts, a geriatric physician, has been on several of the webinars that CareGivers Israel has so importantly put up. You might have been or have seen some of them, and Rachel has been so kind and generous to allow us to use short clips of this on Metapelet. And so Professor Haravi is giving, but it's not only that, as I told you, it's a bi-directional type of an engagement. So look at one of your own.
At masasabi natin isa sa masayang araw nating mga Pilipino na makatulong. At tungkol naman sa sitwasyon, siguro kailangan lang natin magdasal.
Don, can you show a few minutes? Can you show a few seconds of the Indian?
And now exactly. I quickly move to the Indian example, and you'll get to know Ajay. Sorry. This is okay. So I'm sharing with you just a few. It's actually very short interventions, and actually it goes directly to the cell phones of the caregivers in Israel if they want to, and they can log to the obviously the Facebook page, and at any time watch. They do not need to download. So here we are with the Indian Ajay.
शुभ संध्या, मैं अजय हूं और हर सोमवार और बुधवार को आपसे यहां मिलता हूं। ये ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का METAPELET प्रोग्राम है। युद्ध के दौरान समाचार, मार्गदर्शन, समर्थन और जानकारी के लिए हम आपके संपर्क का केंद्र है। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने की निरंतर और को मजबूत करने के बारे में सुझाव दें। आप यहाँ अपने नियोक्ता के साथ नई गतिविधियां सीख सकते हैं। इस लघु वीडियो में एक सरल व्यायाम को खत्म करने के निर्णायक प्रयास, स्थिति, स्वास्थ्य देखभाल तक पहुंच और जीवन शैली विकल्पों।
This is interesting. In last evenings, that's what you're seeing is the edition of last evening. Ajay was presenting simple information like why is life expectancy in Israel so high? And as you know, the caregivers, this is part of the story. I'll stop here and thank you so much, Daniella. I will be staying with you for the rest of your excellent webinar if there will be any other questions. And people are, of course, able to use the chat. You'll have the link to Metapelet at any time you want to enjoy and benefit from another source of reliable and accurate information, specifically during this war. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yinon. Can you see my presentation now?
No.
You need to upload it again.
Okay. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, good. So I will briefly go to, because we have many more subjects today, some extra advices.
Daniella, it's not in presentation mode. Now it is. Okay.
It is. Some extra advices for you, caregivers. Be organized. Know what you're doing and where you're going. So one thing that can help us to be assured and feel safe is exactly to know where is the safe place, how long it will take me to get there, with the Abba or Ima. If there is a mobility problem, you might ask them to bring a wheelchair. You organize a safe space. If you need the help of the family, ask them to help you put their mattress, water, chair, blankets, because it's getting cold. Organize the bag with everything you need. So in case there is a siren, you know, you are very organized. And since the war is still here, maybe even areas that didn't have sirens or alarms before, they might have next. So I suggest that everybody will be should be organized, because we don't know exactly how it's going to develop. About communication with your family employers. When there is alarm, they are worried. They don't know exactly if you have alarm, if not, because they are not living with you in the same house. So I think you should inform there. Send a WhatsApp in the WhatsApp group of you and your family members, and tell them now there is an alarm. We go to the safe place. You just can agree with them of a few words, alarm. And then when you get out of the safe place, inform them again so they can be relaxed, that you are back to routine and everything is okay. And I suggest, if you don't have it yet, suggest to them to make a WhatsApp group that includes everyone involved. So you don't have a situation where one sister, one daughter calls you, and then another daughter calls you, and then the son calls you, and you have to answer all these phone calls. If you have one WhatsApp group, you send one message and everybody can see it. And the best thing is to send a picture, because seeing is relaxing. Send a picture, we're in the safe place. Send the picture, we're back. This will prevent that they will be anxious and make you anxious. Now, if you go during the day, you go shopping and you go without the Abba or Ima, think that maybe when you go outside and Abba is Ima or is at home, maybe there will be an alarm. So inform your family employers when you leave and also when you return. And before you go, put Abba or Ima in the safe place. So if there is an alarm when you're not there, they will be safe. Also, in daily life communication, not in war and also especially in war, I suggest you that, especially if the family is very anxious and is calling a lot and maybe disturbing you in your work, just tell them, make an agreement that you are sending pictures of you and the Abba, or also only the Abba or the Ima 3 times a day in fixed times. Then they don't have to call every time. They just see the picture. They wait for the picture. They see the picture. They know that everything is okay in the house. About the communication with your family in the homeland. Maybe they can be more relaxed if you introduce your employers to your family. Ask the family employers when they come to visit to say a few words to your family at home. Also, you can send your family at home link to Metapelet. You can send them link to this presentation, to other reliable information, because maybe they sit and they see fake news. They don't know what's going on. They're worried. Help them to be informed. And also send pictures that they will see that you're okay, you're smiling, you're at home, it looks okay. Because I know that many Metapelet feel that their family at home is very anxious and they want to make them also feel that they are okay and okay. Another issue that I want to say a few words about is your rights. So for this, we have a letter to the foreign workers in Israel, the Population and Immigration Authority. And in case you didn't come, can you hear me? Can you hear me? In case you did not come across this letter, I put a link here, and you can always press this and you see the letter in different languages. Also, I've put here the telephone number. It's 24 hours telephone. If you feel distress, if you feel anxiety, if something happens, if you do 107 7889, and you can call, and if you need mental support, don't be shy. You can call and ask for mental support. So all these links will be also available for you here. About holidays, many of you are concerned about holidays. The instructions did not change. The same with the expensive now because there are less flights now. But if you decide to go, make your plans and go, just don't hesitate and tell your employers as soon as possible so they will be informed and they can make plans and find replacement or organize everything so they will be prepared when you go on your holiday. Okay. Now about care and self-care. So here are things that just want to remind you. That you have to take care of yourself. People that take care of other people, first and foremost, have to take care of themselves. So physical activity is so important. You can do it outside or inside the house. You can do it for yourself on your own, and you can do it with the Abba or the Ima. It's so important for everybody to do. Music instead of television. Don't sit near the television and the news. Put music instead for yourself and for the Abba or Ima. Healthy diet, always important, especially now when we are in stress. Play games, make yourself occupy and make the Abba and Ima occupy. And also, I want to tell you that it's okay to celebrate, even that you feel that everybody is sad and everybody is worried. Still, if you have birthday and soon it's going to be Christmas and some of you are Christian and you want to celebrate Christmas and you want to meet with your friends and with your community, it's okay to celebrate. You don't have to be sad all the time. It's completely okay for you to meet with your friends and have fun and enjoy your life as much as possible. In order to do this, you have to beware of overexposure to news. Now, it's important for yourself because if we watch news, especially frightening things, it does really, really damage to our brain. Stressful images, violent images harm us. And it's important to us, and it's also important to the patient, to the Abba or to the Ima, even if it's people with dementia. Sometimes people with dementia are very sensitive to sounds, to frightening sounds. So put soft music. Don't let them watch television and news all day. If it's possible, make them feel more relaxed, as much as relaxed as possible. Also, beware of isolation. We are people, humankind, and our survival and well-being depends on relationship that we have with other people. You see a picture of an elephant here. Elephants, they are huge. They can cope in the nature. They have big teeth. We are small and weak animals. We need other people to help, to participate, to cooperate, So God made us social beings. And part of what gives us meaning in life is the joy of giving to other people. Israel, I don't know how much you know about the Israeli society, but we are a very diverse society. We are composed of many groups, religious and non-religious, and people that immigrated to Israel from different countries, and they have different cultures and different mentalities and different political views. And sometimes a lot of conflicts in Israel even between the Jewish Israeli people. But during the war, there is more community feeling and more action of helping each other. And this is a way of being resilient, being strong. So people did many things, like people adopted evacuated communities and helped them with housing, gave clothes to people that had to leave their home very quickly. People are helping farmers in agriculture, because a lot of Thailand people that were working in agriculture in Israel, they left and went back to Thailand. So people, even old people, are volunteering and doing agriculture work to help the farmers. People are supporting soldiers, making food, sending warm clothes. Old women are sitting and knitting hats, warm hats for the soldiers. And all this makes people feel much better with themselves. So also you and your patients can do it, you and your Abba and Ima. Even small things, it will make you feel happier and will make your Abba and Ima feel happier instead of all the time being worried. You can bake a cake or bake bread and give it to the grandchild. You can visit a neighbor. If there is a lonely neighbor in your building, you can visit them and bring them something nice to eat, maybe some special dish that you made to make them happy and make them feel less lonely. You can go over your clothes and the Abba or Ima clothes, maybe there is something they don't need. You can collect it with your Abba and Ima and send it to people that need it. This is the joy of giving. It will help you and it help your Abba and Ima feel much better in this difficult time. And it's the law of karma. When you give to others, you plant a good seed for yourself. And I will quote here from Matthew, the New Testament. Some of you are religious. So Matthew chapter 5, blessed are the merciful. They shall have mercy shown them. Blessed are the pure in heart. They shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers. They shall be recognized as children of God. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. You are light for the world. In the same way, your light must shine in people's sight, so that seeing your good works, they may give praise to your Father in heaven. So this is from my heart to your heart, because I know that many of you go to church and you believe, and everything good that you give is good for God. God likes it. And before I finish, I put this little caricature. You see that this painter, he paints a picture. He paints the view. But what he paints, you see, he's painting his nose in the middle, because when he sees the views, what he sees in the view, that he sees his own horn, yeah? He doesn't realize it, but that's how he sees the world. All the picture is with his horn. So our attitude to life is what creates our reality. So in order to make your attitude in life better and to be more resilient in this time, I suggest and advise you to see these two things. There are things in the reality that is not in your control and things that are in your control. Not in your control is the war, the alarms, what will be in the future, the uncertainty, the hostages, people's anxiety is not in your control. But there are many things in your control. And it's the things you expose yourself to, like television. It's going to the safe place. It's the way you treat your body. It's the help that you give to other people. And it's also you asking for help. Please, if you need help, ask for help. So again, I want to say thank you so much. And now I will give a few minutes for you to ask questions or to comment or to say anything that